All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming, and as you can hopefully see on the screen right now, in the last video what I did was I created what I refer to as an epilogue. And in other words, this was the last lecture that I'm going to give in here on the regular ASP.NET program. Now we're going to attempt to see, I'm going to try to give you the steps to go and take this project and put it out on production. In other words, try to put it out on the internet. All right. Okay, so I'm going to just, everything that's in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close it. All right, this works. I don't want to take and start playing with or screwing with, pardon my French, a working project. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do this. I'm going to close it. I've got this payroll ASP.NET, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it. It'll give me something with the same name -copy on the end. Of course, I don't want that, but I'm going to change it to payroll ASP.NET. I could call it internet, online, whatever. I will call it internet. Now, you already know this, or you should at least, hopefully. And that is when I come in here, one of the first things I want to do is I want to open up the CS proj file. I want to change the name of it here. And I want to make sure that that says internet as well. Oops. And again, the big thing here is what I do not want to do is mess up the already working project. So home, get rid of that. Whoops. I think it's now correct. Payroll ASP.NET Internet. All right. Let's quickly open this thing up. All right, I'm going to leave all that exactly as it is. Okay. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into here, start up Microsoft Visual Studio again, bring this up, close all of this, and you'll notice the project is not there because I do have to add it. So I'm going to right mouse click, I'm going to choose add, existing project, I've got to find it, so it's underneath here, and there it is. And I have to bring in the CS proj file. Now that should have brought in everything that I need. Hopefully it has. All right, so that's the first thing I want to do. Second, it's kind of important right here that right now if I open up the appsettings.json file, if I do open that file up, for you to see, as it says, it's got my connection string in it, but there's a couple things in here that are really important that we're going to have to change. This, let me pause for a moment. All right, I am sitting in my living room, and that's why you heard the grandfather clock. So the first thing is, again, this isn't going to be local anymore. That's got to change. All right, I think I'll change the name of the database probably too. The other thing is this trusted connection equal true means that all you need to do to get in here, basically, is you need to have the Windows password. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this file that we have, I'm going to close it first of all, and I'm going to right mouse click on it. I'm going to choose copy. And we want it to be right underneath our project. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say paste. And it put it right by the other one. All right, you can see it right there. Now I'm going to close it right away because I want to rename it first of all. Don't want to call it app settings JSON. Okay, you can call it probably anything you want, but what I'm used to doing is coming in here and calling it something like app settings .production.json. All right. Now, as of right now, they're identical files. I don't want that, but as of right now, that's what they are. Okay. So what do I have to change, or what do I want to change in here? Well, after this, I've got payroll. Let's call this payroll ASPDBI for internet. All right. So I'm going to put that in there, and then I'm going to take what's in here, all this stuff that was in here, and I'm just going to type in here, for lack of better words right now, placeholder. Whoa, hello. Try that again. So I'm going to put in here placeholder, and something like this will be set automatically later. And I'm not going to worry about the rest of it. All right. And I'm not even going to put anything else in there other than this, just my connection string. I'm not going to put any logging in here. I'm not going to put any allowed hosts in here. Maybe I should have this. I don't know. But I'm going to do it like this. So that's my app settings.production.json file. And it's important for you to realize, all right, that this is no longer a local server. So this will be production. It's not really, I guess it is a production server. It's not mine. Like that. All right. So that's what has changed in here thus far. So I'm going to do a file, save all, and I'm going to close that. All right. The next thing that I'm going to do in here, I don't know what happened to my stuff. I guess, there we go. The next thing that I'm going to do is I want a file in here, and it's a .getignore file. All right. And let's come up and let's bring this in. So I'm going to type in here, what is a .getignore file? And there's Stack Overflow. All right, let's take a look in here and see what it says. Get rid of that. And it says getignore tells Git which files or patterns it should ignore. Well, that makes sense because of the name. It is usually used to avoid committing transient files from your working directory that aren't useful to other collaborators. So something that either wouldn't help them or you wouldn't want them to see. All right. So the next thing that I'm going to do in here is to create that file. I'm going to create it right under the root, which means here I'm going to come in, and I don't need that open, but I'm going to right mouse click on here and I'm going to click add. Let's see. It will be a new item, but I just want a regular file. I don't think there's anything in here for like a getignore file to my knowledge. I think if I put code file on it, see it puts .cs, which I don't want. Well, what if I come into general here? No. Well, there's online. Don't want any of that. I guess it's a text file, but I don't want it to end with .txt. All right. I want to just come in here. Let's ask and let's see if we can find something out here. How to create a .getignore file for a C# ASP.NET program. I just want to make sure I'm putting it in the right place. All right, it says the .NET SDK provides a built-in template that generates this for you. Open your command prompt in your project's root directory and run that command. So let's do that. So what we want is I need to know exactly for my root here. So let's cancel this and let's come in here, and this is my full path. I wanted to copy the full path, I think. So I'm going to type in here CD to all that. Now I don't want any of this stuff. I want to go right there. All right, that's good. Now it says from here, what we should be able to do is do a .NET new gitignore. So I'm going to copy that. Says it was created successfully. Well, that's good. All right. Now, I don't know if how I can open it, so I'm going to just try using Notepad. .gitignore. There it is. So it created all of this stuff for me. That's a lot of junk in there. Notice what it says. Ignore Visual Studio temporary files, build results, and files generated by popular Visual Studio add-ons. Now, I don't know if I need all this stuff, but there are a few things that I do want to put in here, so I'm going to see if they're in here. This is a big file. So Control Home. First thing I'm going to look for is star.user. Okay, it has that. All right. I also want bin/ and obj/. So that's client bin. It's recycle bin. I don't know if I need all this stuff, to be honest with you. So I think what I'm going to do is where I had that, I'm going to leave all that in there. Maybe I need it, maybe I don't. So I've got here this star/user, and I'm going to add in here bin/ and obj/. All right. So far I've come in, let me do a file save all here, or save, and close this. I don't even know if it's going to show here because it's a file that starts with a dot. But if I do come in here and type ls right now, dir, I guess, there's .gitignore. So it is in there. And I think I put it in the wrong spot. I wanted it into ASP.NET IMVC. Okay. So let's delete that. Now you get to watch me goof off, make mistakes. So let's do a cd to ./ASP what do we call it? ASP.NET Internet. So this is PayrollASP.NET ASP.NET All right, let's do a CD to dot dot. All right, now let's do a CD because I spelled it wrong, I believe. Not ASP.NET. ASP.NET Internet. What is the problem here? How about doing another dir? CD to ASP.NET MVC. Now do a dir. Now we should be able to go there. All right, we're there. So let's create this file now. There it is. All right. Now we should be able to notepad it again like we did before. And again, I'm going to come in here and where we've got this .user, I'm going to add bin slash and obj. Oops. Cancel and obj slash. These are files that we don't want shown to anybody else. So they're not going to be able to use those files. Let's just double check. Okay, so there was our user. There's our bin and our obj. All right, so far we've gone in and we've created those files. There is a .getignore. It's right there. Okay, that's fine. All right. So the next thing we want to do is confirm that a published profile target release exists. So in Visual Studio, under Build, there's Configuration Manager. And we want to make sure in here that a release configuration exists. So there's release. So it is in there. It's right there. And the reason for that is as we go through the publishing process, all right, that's what it's going to end up using. So I can close that now. Good. So that's the first. We've done a couple things or three things here. We went in and we updated. We didn't update our app settings.json file. Rather, we made an app settings.production.json file. Second, we created a getignore file and added a couple things to it. And third, we confirmed that our publish profile target release exists for a release configuration. Now, the next thing to do is to create a free Azure account. And to do that, now, this is where, just so you know, I'm going to go back and forth a little bit here. All right, and what do I mean? Well, what they want you to do here is they want you to go out to azure.microsoft.com. All right, and what that doesn't look right. Unless I typed it in wrong. Let's try it again. Actually, it looks like that's correct. How about this? How to create a new Azure, a new free Azure account. I'd like to do one if possible without a credit card. All right. free courses, how to create a Microsoft Azure description. Creating a free Azure account without a credit card is primarily possible through the Azure for Students program. Requires a school email or by using Microsoft Learn for trading purposes. Standard Azure accounts require a credit or debit card for identification, but student accounts offer $100. Yeah. Well, I don't no longer have a verified school email address. I used to have jpscott at rankin.edu. I also had a jpscott at blackhawk.edu when I was working at Blackhawk, but since I'm not at either place anymore, since I am retired, I don't have that anymore. That's for students. All right. All right, so to create a new Azure account, visit the Azure free account page. I don't want free. There we go. To create an Azure account with a credit card, visit the Azure free account page, click Start Free, sign in with a Microsoft account. You must provide a credit card. So I tried to create an Azure account for free, but I do not have a credit card. What should I do? And of course, I'm already at 22 minutes. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop right here. I do want to go on, but before I do, I want to see if I put a request into Microsoft Help if it's possible for me to get one of these without using a credit card. If it's not, I'll have to add one, but I'll come back and check on that in just a bit.